Hey, what are you trying to do? Get smart or something?
That wasn't me, Jake. It was... Hey, look.
Hi up there! You better be careful where you're shooting, mister!
George is sure going to be surprised. He hasn't seen her in about a month now.
Look, he was up at the fort last week, remember?
Yeah, but the way she's been growing, he probably won't even recognize her.
You know, if we really wanted to surprise him, we'd take her right into the office with us.
Boy, you guys are sure full of some nutty ideas today.
Well, what's wrong with that? She'd come in with us?
Sure, then she'd get inquisitive and start knocking things over. Not that you mean any harm by it, lady, but George would get kind of sore at us for messing up his office and take another 2 weeks to get our walkie-talkie fixed.
Well, look at it from Lady's point of view. Probably be the only chance in her life she'll ever have of seeing a typewriter or a telephone or an electric light.
And you know how she always likes going exploring nowadays.
Yeah, it'll be fun, but it's not worth it. Look, I'll take the radio in and get George to come back outside, okay?
We're in no position to argue, Pete. You're bigger than we are.
Oh, stop it.
And like I say, we were just innocently chasing a deer out there like we got a legal right to do, and all of a sudden, boom. Right, Ed?
Absolutely.
And then what happened?
Oh, we ran for our lives, naturally. I mean, the first shot could have been an accident, maybe, but not the second. The guy just stood there and took deliberate aim at me.
But you did read the notice posted on his fence, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, but for heaven's sake, Chief, this is supposed to be a civilized country, isn't it? I mean, I'm not making this up. I've got proof. He plugged me right through the hat, here.
I believe you. But as I said, most people find it smart not to go near that place except by invitation.
You mean he invites people?
Around twice a year for a sort of vegetarian equivalent of a regimental banquet, which he cooks himself, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, that's a very interesting piece of local color, no doubt. But what I want to know is...
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you had anybody.
Please, be my guest, kid.
Well, if you want me to, I can
No, what is it, Pete?
Has the new transistor for the walkie-talkie arrived yet?
No.
Oh. Oh, say, if you get a chance, come on outside. We got something to show you. Kind of interesting.
Well, as you can see, I'm kind of busy at the moment.
Oh, well, take your time. It'll keep. We'll be outside. Thank you very much, sir.
Now, if there's no further interruptions for a moment, the next question is, what's the name of this nut?
I beg your pardon?
Well, that's what he is, some kind of a nut, isn't he?
Possibly. During the war, he was more often described as a hero, I think.
So, I want to know his name.
His name is Ashley Gordon. Colonel Ashley Gordon, if you want to be precise.
You mean the Southeast Asia guy?
That's right.
The one who used to always pray and always went into action carrying a riding crop in his hand and a copy of some old Greek philosopher in his pocket?
The name of the philosopher was Plato, as I recall.
Yeah, but I thought he was dead. Or a general or something.
No, he refused to be a general. He bought some property back in the bush. Lives out there all alone nowadays. One of the reasons he insists on absolute privacy is that he's translating the Bible, I understand.
Look, are you kidding us?
He's not satisfied with the old translation, apparently. So when the weather's too bad to go shooting out there...
Now, that's the part that we're interested in, the shooting part. I mean, we've told you what happened, and the fellow's a public menace, obviously. So the next question is, what are you going to do about this?
Nothing I can do. I'm not a police officer.
So is that who we should see, the police?
If you're prepared to take the consequences, why not?
What do you mean if we're prepared to take the consequences?
Well, if you bring charges against him, the colonel will do the same thing to you, naturally. Which doesn't mean you'd go to jail, necessarily. You might just get off with a fine, I suppose.
Are you crazy? What could he charge us with?
A number of things. Unauthorized trespass with firearms, entry with intent to hunt on legally posted property, and of course you'd have to plead guilty, because otherwise your case against him falls apart.
But that's ridiculous.
He couldn't shoot at you if you weren't there, could he?
So in other words, there's nothing we can do without getting into trouble ourselves.
You can hunt where you're supposed to hunt, and if that doesn't satisfy you...
We can just drop dead, apparently, right?
Sorry, no comment.
So what do you think we ought to do now, Ed?
I'd say forget it. Remember, we're on vacation.
Yeah, some vacation, isn't it?
So let's not waste any time. Let's go and shoot us a couple of deer, okay?
Well, you mean you think you know where we can find one?
I sure do, boy. One right across the street there.
What? Golly, that's amazing.
Not as big as the other one we saw, but it'd sure make a nice little handbag for Mabel, wouldn't it?
Boy, oh boy, if those kids just weren't in the way.
All right, mister, put that thing down, will you?
I beg your pardon?
I said put it down, and that's an order. You hear me?
Look now, you know I was only kidding, don't you?
Yeah, well, one doesn't kid around with guns, mister, and if you two are smart, you'll both get out of here now before I take your licenses away.
Okay, don't get sore, Chief.
And don't go out the front door. Go out the back. I don't want you on the roads with those things. Confounded idiot.
Those guys must be giving George a little trouble in there.
Nobody gives George any trouble except us, remember?
I think it's true, though. I think they really can communicate.
That's not very surprising, is it?
But I mean with each other. Look at her. She's telling him something.
She just likes him, that's all.
Well, that's a fine-looking sight, I must say.
Getting bigger, isn't she?
What'd you do with your two friends in there? Did you eat them?
Oh, they went out the back door, that's all. Hello, lady, old charmer. How come you brought her into town? She want to go shopping?
No, we're just afraid to leave her at the fort anymore. Because when she's alone, she tries to get away all the time.
Well, you're going to have to let her go eventually. She's a wild animal, Gabby.
Yeah, but not right now in the middle of the hunting season, George.
She wouldn't last 10 minutes out in the bush with some of those so-called sportsmen. Come up here for the weekends.
Yeah, that's a problem, I'll admit. Now you're going to have to excuse me.
Why? You just got here.
Yeah, I know, but I have a visitor.
Oh.
Uncle Gordon?
Do you know anybody else who has a car like that?
What's he doing in town, I wonder?
Either he ran out of food or ammunition.
I was trying to reach you on the phone a while ago.
Why? Not going to be any trouble about my hunting licenses, is there?
No, we'll take care of those for you, all right. This was about another matter. Would you like to come inside, sir?
Yes, in a moment.
If you'd like to take a look at her, go right ahead.
Kind of you, sir. Good afternoon. My name is Gordon.
Yes, sir, we know.
These two would be a great comfort to the prophet Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 6. The wolf shall also dwell with the lamb, etc. May I ask how you came by this creature?
We found her out in the bush, sir.
Recently?
No, last spring.
You mean somebody shot the mother? Out of season, I suppose.
Possibly.
We found her out by your place, as a matter of fact.
Well, they're like everything else, you know. They were made to be killed. You'll be doing it yourselves eventually. Thank you, madam. Gentlemen.
You know something? She's shivering.
I think she's had enough for one day. Let's get her back to the fort where she belongs. Come on.
And don't worry, lady. We're not going to let anybody hurt you. Not anybody.
So I thought you should know that they'd complained, but I got rid of them finally.
Decent of you, sir.
I know you're an excellent shot and all that, but one day you're going to come too close and kill somebody, and then you'll be in trouble.
Possibly.
Not possibly, undoubtedly.
Hard to say, really. For a number of years, killing was my profession, you know. I don't suppose one more on the list would make much difference now. Speaking in terms of salvation, you understand.
Yes, well, I was speaking more in terms of the law, Colonel. Well, that finishes that one. Now for this other. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you a question, Colonel.
Yes?
You've indicated intention to use mainly on your own property, of course. I've got to ask you about the nature and extent of your shooting out there.
I beg your pardon?
Questions of kinds and amounts of game, etc.
Mr. Keeley, you know my habits better than most people, I should say.
I know, but I'm required to ask, sir.
Matter of duty, you mean?
That's right.
The question is posed, I presume, in relation to whether I ever exceed the legal bag or something, correct?
Quite correct.
Very well, then. A formal question, a formal answer. I have shot at something every day of my life since I was 10. Seems to be what I was made for.
Yes?
As to what I shoot at, I shoot at strangers if they come unannounced and uninvited, and at bad dreams, and at wickedness, and at anything else that pleases me, but never in excess of the legal limits laid down in the hunting code. Is that sufficient?
Quite.
If you want a written report, I keep a daily record, of course.
No, that won't be necessary. I'm just supposed to bring it up in order that you keep it in mind.
May I go now?
Certainly. And do try to be careful, sir.
Okay, now you be a good girl and don't try and get out tonight, understand? Hold on. Well, now you stay where you are, okay? We'll see you tomorrow.
Everything okay?
Yeah, she's fine. Let's go home.
Eddie, when we passed this place this morning, there was nobody here, remember?
Yeah, but there may be somebody here now. We can look anyway. I mean, the sign says they do guiding, stuff like that. Maybe they can find us some deer tomorrow so we won't waste time like today.
Yeah, that's a good idea, no doubt, but the place is closed.
So maybe there's somebody inside.
Well, they got a sign that says keep out.
Ah, so what? Hey, anybody home? Yoo-hoo, anybody home?
Hey, you know what's going to happen next, don't you? You're going to get a shot at again.
What's the matter? You getting chicken or something?
It's not a question of getting chicken. I'm tired, my feet hurt, and I want to go back to the trailer and have a drink, that's all.
Okay, if that's what you want to do. Let's go.
Sorry to bother you, George, but,
Yeah?
have you got the transistor?
It's right over there, under the counter.
Thanks.
Something wrong?
Lady got away.
What?
Don't know how she did it, but she got the gate open last night. We're gonna take Topper out in the bush, see if he can find her for us.
Yeah, well, now, wait a minute. There are a lot of hunters out there today.
Don't worry, we'll be careful. Just keep your fingers crossed.
Here's Pete now. Let's get moving.
All ready?
Go find Lady, boy. Come on, boy. Go find Lady. Are you sure she went in there, boy?
So what do we do now?
If you ask me, we keep on looking for her.
You guys know what can happen when we go over that fence, don't you?
Sure. Sure we know, and I guess we're all a bit scared of it, too. At least I am, certainly, but we came out here to try to save her life. We've got to go all the way through with it. Or otherwise, what good are we?
What do you think, Mike?
I'm with him, Pete. How about you?
I'm game if you guys are. One thing I want to do first, though. XNY 556. Come in, please. Over.
Maybe we'll be lucky. Colonel Gordon could be at Indian River.
I wouldn't count on it.
XNY 556, over.
George, we're at the Colonel's place. The fawn's gone in there. We're going after her.
Pete, you can't go on the Colonel's property. It's out of the question. And anyhow, if she's in there, there's nothing you can do about it. So come on home, will you?
Look, I didn't call you to argue about it, George. We just wanted to tell you where we're going. If anything happens, you'll know what to do about it. Over and out.
XNY 556, A for Apple. Pete, come in, will you? XNY 556, A for Apple. Pete!
Gabby, you wait here. Let's go.
Oh,
Okay, Pete, but be careful.
Put me through to Colonel Gordon's place, will you? And if he doesn't answer, just keep ringing.
Gordon speaking. Yes, what is it? Really, how very interesting. I'm sorry, Mr. Keeley, but I don't see how that's anybody's concern except my own. This is my property, you know. And what makes you think I can't? Because they're boys? Yes, well, thank you for warning me. Goodbye.
That's us he's shooting at?
No, it sounded more as if it was behind the lodge someplace.
Could be ladies after.
Only one way to find out. I'll go first. You guys stay behind. Come on.
Gordon?
Yes?
Sorry to disturb you.
I'll thank you not to speak until I've finished.
What was he shooting at?
Target on the post out there, naturally. That ought to do it for the moment.
You mean you can actually hit that from here?
It's not so difficult. Here. You may see for yourself if you like.
Gee, that's amazing.
I don't think so. I was trained in the use of arms. It is, after all, one of my vanities to remain skillful at it. I find it helps me to concentrate. Now, may I ask who gave you permission to visit me?
Nobody, sir. We came looking for our fawn.
I beg your pardon?
Well, she got away from our fort last night. We know she's in here someplace because our dog followed her trail.
We thought you might have seen her or something.
Yes, I saw her. I'm afraid it won't do you any good. You're a trifle late, gentlemen.
You mean you took your gun and shot her?
Certainly not.
Then what's happened to her?
One thing at a time. You came here with an accusation on your lips. I think I should tell you that with the exception of insects and a good many rats, which I don't count because I consider them to be evil, I have not killed a single living thing since the end of the war. Does that answer your question?
But everybody always says that you...
I'm not concerned with what people say. I merely wish to make it clear that a number of years ago I gave up killing, that's all.
But why?
Only that I saw too much of it. Kind of thing that makes a man think. How to justify death, if that's possible. I find it very strange the way the world is. That's why I'm glad I'm out of it.
You think he's all right?
I don't know. I sure hope so.
What about that fawn, Colonel?
Quite all right. She's been resting, I think.
You mean you know where she is?
Certainly. She's right inside the door there. You may pay her a visit if you like, but not for long. I have work to do.
Oh, it's good to see you, lady.
Boy, we've missed you, lady.
Hey.
Gee.
Hey, lady.
Quite a reunion, isn't it, eh?
Quite.
Oh, by the way, do you happen to have any rope or something we can take her home with?
And what makes you think I'm going to let you take her home, sir?
After all, that's what we came here for, isn't it?
Yes? Well, forget it.
What? Oh, you must be joking, of course.
Not at all. I have no sense of humor. She came here, she stays, naturally.
Hey, fellas, listen to this. The Colonel's not going to let Lady go home with us.
What?
Seems that since he caught her, he thinks he's entitled to keep her.
But you can't do that. Everyone knows that she's ours.
Is she? Lady, come here, please. And what makes you think she's yours, may I ask?
We found her. We raised her. We took care of her.
And at the first possible opportunity, she ran away, I notice.
Well, that's just because she doesn't like to be penned up, that's all.
So she won't be.
Well, she's got to be for her own protection.
Yes? Well, let me tell you something about protection. That's what she came to me for, obviously. I have 1,000 acres here for her to roam in, and no hunters. People come onto my property, I shoot them. As I shall have to do with you, too, I suppose, if you try and remove her. Oh, nothing quite fatal, of course, but...
So what you want to do is just take her away from us.
She came to me, remember? And who knows? She might even be useful.
How can a deer be useful?
To be studied is to be useful. I shall learn something from her, no doubt.
Such as what?
Such as the habits of deer, for example. And what it was that led the medieval poets to admire them so. I never found them particularly interesting personally. But then, as Plato remarked... However, that's quite beside the point, as none of you know Greek, I'm sure. That's not necessary, you know. I have a telephone.
May I use it?
Certainly. Right over there.
May I have the ranger office, please?
Hello?
Hi, George, it's me.
Pete, what happened? Where are you?
We're at Colonel Gordon's.
You mean he let you into the house?
Yeah, he's got the fawn here.
So, what's the problem?
He doesn't want to give her to us. He wants to keep her.
Really?
He thinks she'd be better off, on account of she can run free and everything.
Well, that's true, probably. How do you feel about it?
Oh, I don't know. He seems such a mean old man.
Does she seem to like him?
Oh, she likes him better than she does us.
Then that settles it, doesn't it?
George, do you think we should leave her?
I think it's fine, Pete. Absolutely fine.
That was close, wasn't it?
Hey, did we get him?
You mean the dog or Gabby?
Oh, gee, kids, I didn't realize. Hey, Eddie, forget it. It wasn't a deer.
You okay, Gabby?
I guess so.
You know, I think George is probably right. Lady will be better off at the Colonel's at that.